Hello, NPBF coaches and fans alike. Welcome to playoff season. This is our first bit of postseason content that we're doing. The first of what should be 8 different coaches' interviews for uh, all you viewers getting to know who's in playoffs. That way you can get more invested in the games. The first one to join me this time around is Liam and the representative of the Auckland Ambipoms. Liam, say hello.
What's up? How's it going?
Uh, Liam, you are not easy to get a hold of, or not maybe not get a hold of, but to make arrangements with the time difference. I gotta say,
Oh, I don't think it's too bad. I'm pretty free most of the days, so it's
that's
just
true.
if I'm sleeping or not.
That's true. That's true. It's certainly been easier to schedule with you than it was Jamie at some points,
Oh yeah,
and certainly easier than most people have with Gav, despite being in the same country as him.
yeah,
So I'll give you that. You're pretty available. Uh, but enough about time zones. Let's talk about MPF season 15. You know,
yeah.
uh, as everybody knows who's been following the season, we did something a little bit different. Every now and then we do have themes. We've done mono, we've done doubles, but this is the first time we've changed generations that we're playing in, and it took a lot of people time to get used to it. So, what did you personally think of doing a throwback to sixth gen?
I quite enjoyed it because see, I stopped playing Pokemon. I started around like Gen 3 and played like uh, Ruby and Sapphire and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then stopped playing for ages until X and Y came out, and then I really enjoyed X and Y and RS. So I've enjoyed the throwback a lot.
Yeah, X and Y was it huge for getting people back into Pokemon, I mean,
Yeah,
look at you. We have one of our most dominant coaches got back into the game because of X and Y. Personally, I loved X and Y. I loved sixth gen. Love, love, love. I think it's the last time I really, truly loved an entire generation.
for sure, man. Yeah, I love the megas. I love the like because I got me back into playing Pokemon. So I got a 3DS and all of that. It's so fun.
Yeah, I definitely had a bunch of friends that did the same thing as you, and I'd be lying if I said that X and Y wasn't what got the most usage out of my 3DS. The original one I had before its Wi-Fi eventually crapped out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So you talk about like, X and Y being what got you back into Pokemon, right? It's something you spent a lot of time with, like the Megas were awesome. You put a lot of time and enjoyment from that game. Uh, going from 8th gen, which we've done in NPBF for the last 2 seasons and what you've done in D League before this and whatever other type of competitive play you do outside of here, uh, did you find it tough to kind of adjust back to playing with sixth gen with the mechanics, the not as wide of a Pokemon pool, uh, certainly not nearly as diverse move pools?
I no, I kind of enjoyed it because I knew like most of the mechanics. They're not widely changed that much, apart from like the main thing would be like hidden powers and pursuit. Um, the I enjoyed the change of mons really because I don't really like the like really strong like the tapus and all the beast boosting. Whoa, I forgot what they called.
The Ultra
Um,
Beast, but yeah,
the ultra beast. Yeah, they're just so like powerful, and it doesn't give much room for counterplay.
I totally agree with you. It's been really tough for me, like to play competitive Pokemon like consistently post sixth gen. Uh, so it's good knowing that somebody else feels the same way. Uh, it's interesting though that like it's for you the big difference is it's the Pokemon that we get to use and not so much the mechanics because I know the mechanics threw a lot of people off in this season.
Really? Like, look, what exactly? Yeah, what mechanics?
So this is before Burn was nerfed in seventh gen, so Burn does 12% instead of 6%.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's been a huge thing that people have had to get used to. Um, you've experienced it a bit when playing with me. The like pixelate aerialate abilities that
There,
do
yeah.
1.3 damage instead of 1.2.
Hmm.
Kind of surprised that Pinsir didn't get picked up for that exact reason.
Yeah, well, I considered it, but I just never run like you said in your videos. I just never run removal.
Yeah,
So
I was gonna do it too, but it's like, well, James drafted Gyarados for me. My only removal is Crobat. I can't justify Pinsir.
yeah,
Um, which brings me to my next question, and I think like a lot of different people are gonna have answers, like various answers for this, but this one is actually most prevalent to you. It's no secret that midway through the season, you made a few free agency transactions that really, really changed up the way your team plays. So normally I'd ask if your game plan had to change at all during the season, but it's no secret that it did. So I guess why don't you take us through the before and after of making those trades, like what you had drafted, but initially in terms of what you wanted and maybe how it didn't work out for you and what brought you to the team you have now.
right. Yeah, I because initially I drafted pretty comfort picks. I drafted like the Lati, Milotic, and Darmanitan like straight away because I know how to use those mons and they're pretty strong on this gen as well. I knew Latias had the Soul Dew, and I realized it wasn't banned, so I was like scooping that up
Oh
as
yeah.
soon as possible. Um, and yeah, I did want Pokemon like Sizzle to like accompany Latias, and I didn't know what to take for my second A tier slot, so I ended up having to go with who did I go with? The Terrakion,
Not a
and
bad pick.
it's a great pick for sure. It's and I realized that it's just I'm not familiar with the mon that much. It's a Gen 5 mon, so I didn't play Gen 5, so I didn't know it, but I enjoyed it. It's a very fast and strong mon. Um, but when I did the one thing that brought along the changes, I didn't I didn't like Mega Venusaur, and that's not because Mega Venusaur is bad because it's a really good mon. It's just I had a team that needed to use him as pretty much like a tank.
Right.
Because I had Milotic as one tank, and then not much else really. So I couldn't use Venusaur as like a bulky offense kind of thing. I'd mainly use them for max HP, max defense, or something like that. Which it probably wasn't the smartest thing, and it didn't work out the best. So when I was always looking for another Mega, and Mega Sableye is one of my favorites because of Magic Bounce and like the fact that you can like completely sweep teams as I did um,
Yeah.
in my week 10, I think was it? And
Yeah, against
yeah,
Chris, right?
yeah, yeah, it's crazy that Mon is so strong.
It almost got banned out of OU at the end of 6th gen.
I think it did. I
Oh
think
yeah,
it
it
did
did. It was considered.
eventually.
Yeah, they were trying to ban it from OU almost immediately after Omega and Alpha came out.
Mm. Yeah, that's just super good. And then when I saw, I think it was Gav that dropped Chansey, I'm like, this is the best score. It's time to make the changes. So I got Sableye, got Chansey, and just changed up my whole team. Made like 5 out of 6 swaps, which was yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're great swaps.
I mean, you can't argue with the results it's brought you so far.
Yeah, yeah,
Like Mega Sableye and Chansey is a tried and true like defensive core. It's super
for
good.
sure.
It's like it rivals Deshaun and his Skarmory and Blissey core.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Okay, so good to know about Venusaur because I haven't made it a secret that right before when you picked it, I had been considering taking it, and then I had to change everything or because of that. But I
I was
probably would
actually
have
because
wound it
did
up using it the same way you did.
yeah. Did you pick up the Roserade?
Yes, I picked up Rose
Yeah,
Raiden instead of it, and I've been very happy with Rose.
I was debating whether to get Venusaur or Roserade because I really wanted like a grass type or and a grounded poison, and so I was so close to picking Roserade. It was funny that you wanted the Venusaur.
Yeah, I definitely think if we do this again, if we get to play in 6th gen again, you should give Rose a try because I think it
Oh,
probably is
100%.
I think it's probably everything you wanted Venusaur to be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I love Roserade so much with like T spikes and like uh the hidden powers being technician
It's
boosted
so
is
good.
ridiculously strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good. Like, and I've gotten to use it like for utility with the sleep powders, and
Mm-hmm.
it gets to have the a bit more of an offensive presence than Mega Venusaur does.
Yeah, for sure.
That's really funny. I didn't know you were thinking about getting Rose and but went with Venusaur, so that's really funny. I really like that. So now looking at your team again, this these next few questions can go regarding anything you've had, whether you've dropped it, picked it up towards the end, anything. You can even give us a few questions if you think like not questions, a few answers to these different questions if you think some of the Pokemon like maybe felt this way at different points of the season because we've been doing this season for 3 months now. I guess so, of everything you've had so far, which one surprised you the most out of how well it performed for you? It doesn't have to be like strictly like, oh, this did the most kills and the most deaths, or in the fewest deaths, or like, it doesn't have to have been something that did the kill leaders, but like just something that just performed better than how you were expecting it to, whatever that given role was supposed to be.
Hmm. I would say probably Diancie. Diancie, like it's got such a good defense stat, but then its offense is actually really strong as well, and people underestimate that. And the fact that it can set rocks, it can trick room up, and then it's stab with Moonblast and Diamond Storm can hit both on the physical and special side. So it just does well against most things. So yeah, I'd say Diancie
Yeah, I wasn't
surprised me.
expecting you to say that, but I gotta say that's a good answer. When I was prepping for you, like you say people overlook it. I gotta say I was probably someone that was overlooking it until I was prepping for you and saw how much of a problem it was.
Yeah, man. Like the fact that it can like hidden powers in this gen as well, so you can run hidden power fire for those steel types as well. It's
Yeah,
just really good.
it's super super good. It does even more things than you've listed off, but no need to let other people know that. On the flip side of that, though, I guess we probably already know the answer to this. I think you answered this one already, but who do you think underperformed the most?
um, honestly, it's not Venusaur.
It's not Venusaur. Okay.
Funnily enough, it's um, it's a tough one because I do use it a lot. It's probably my Latias.
You know what? I figured you were gonna say that once you said it wasn't Venusaur.
Yeah, because I don't know. I've been using it as just like a blanket check to anything and everything, and just to get some damage off rather than sweeping.
Yeah, and I mean it does that role well, but it's one of those things where it kind of needs to be doing a specific thing, I guess. That or people just caught on too much to the shenanigans you've been doing in the past.
Yeah, no, I haven't run really weakness policy Carmine stored power sets really. That was my go-to last season. Worked so well.
Yeah, I mean we saw it got results.
It did.
It got results. It's a good set for a good reason. And the last vein of that, I think I know the answer to this. But which roster member performed about as expected?
Milotic.
That's what. Yeah, I figured that's what it is.
I just love Milotic so much. It's the best mon in my opinion. It's the best mon on my team.
It's really good. I mean, in your hands, 100%. Like, what was it, week 2 when Rennie had you dead to rights at a 3-0 and Milotic made it a
Oh yeah.
walkout on your end?
Yeah, it's just too good. It's pretty fast. It's got like base 81 speed,
It is.
and people don't realize that.
It's deceptively fast.
Yeah, and Skull always burns, which is the best, especially in this trend where it's 12%.
Yeah. And then competitive and Marvel scale, great abilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Super
I,
duper good.
I tried to run competitive last week, or this week, against Rennie.
Yeah, we
So I knew
figured.
it didn't matter. I knew it didn't matter, like whether I win or not. And I knew Rennie really wanted to win, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll bring one spicy mon for you. And
Yeah.
because I wanted him to bring webs, but he didn't set up the webs.
Yeah, we just recorded the week 11 recap at the time of recording this. We did it earlier in the day, and we were looking
Mm.
at like, oh my God, was that offensive Milotic?
Yeah, choice specs.
Oh my God, that's even crazier than what we were expecting. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's so good. And I mean, you that's actually one of the things I've loved the most about this season is the wacky stuff we've seen people bring.
Dude, it's so great.
Like you brought Choice Specs Milotic. We saw Jesse try to sweep me with Trick Room, Belly Drum, Chestnut. Like I'm sure there's been other crazy stuff that I just don't remember. I mean, there's been wild stuff, not just silly stuff, but there's been some wild stuff, and it's been really cool to
Yeah.
see. Um, I guess off the top of my head, just two other questions before we move into looking forward to the playoffs. Uh, so looking back uh, on, we've only actually been able to play 11 games so far. We haven't made it to, even though we're in week 12 at the time of recording, no one's actually played it. Um, but that said, what would you say has been the highlight of this season for you? Like, what's been your proudest moment or your favorite moment that you've got to experience doing season 15?
Uh, it's a tough one actually. Because I can't like go through all the games and just say, oh yeah, this game was great or this game, because I think I make good plays in most games.
I'd say that's
Like,
fair to say.
so I wouldn't say anything's a real standout. I don't know. I did enjoy beating Rennie in his Town Flame.
Yeah, yeah. Off the top of my head, I think of the games of yours that I've seen, that's probably one of my highlights is
Yeah.
the Milotic comeback for sure.
Oh, this sweep last week as well, which is really good.
Yes, yeah. The sweep with Sableye was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Normally I'd ask if you have any low points, but I mean this has been a pretty great season for you. It's no undefeated in the
The
regular
first the
season.
first game the first game was terrible for me. I hated it so much. I misplayed so hard. I just choked because I knew Alakazam as Trace,
Right.
and I, for some reason, I thought it was regular Alakazam that had Trace and not the Mega.
Oh
I thought it was the other
no!
way around.
Oh
I thought like,
no!
oh, Mega has Magic Guard or something like that. And so I was like, oh, sweet. When he switched in, no Trace, no Volt Absorb Trace. I was like, sweet, I can just Volt Switch here. Nope. It was so stupid, but it was so funny. Oh, oh
That
well.
that is actually really funny. I was wondering how that came about, and I've done that. I think we've all done that. Maybe not with Alakazam,
Oh
but we've done that.
yeah.
But now let's take a look to the future into the playoffs.
Hmm.
So obviously you're a division leader. You're going to be facing one of the wild cards. So we won't
Yeah.
ask about round ones or anything. Instead, what I'm most curious about when it comes to who you would want to face is out of anybody in the playoffs, who would you want to be your finals opponent if you make it all the way?
Ooh, that is a good question.
If you're not sure off the top of your head who the potential playoff coaches are, it's the two of us, Deshaun, Steven. Jason and Rennie are also guaranteed. And then the bottom two slots are in contention right now between James, Anthony, Shawnee, and Jeff.
Huh.
By the time this goes up, we will actually know who the bottom two are.
Right. Um, I would like to play because I want to play everyone.
Of
So I
course.
would definitely need to play Deshaun and I need to play Steven. So either of them, if I play them semis and finals, I'll be happy with that.
Well, if the standings stay the way they are, um, you're looking pretty set to potentially get those dreams. As long as if the status quo remains, it could end up being you and Steven in semis, and it could end up being you and Deshaun in finals. No,
Okay.
it would be the other way around. It would be you and
Okay, yeah.
Deshaun in semis and you and Steven in finals.
I honestly think I have a good matchup against Deshaun with
I think
his
now you do.
Scarnability. Yeah, yeah, now I do with the changes
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
I think for certainly now you do. I think if there's any team that can beat him now, it's probably yours. I don't know what I would do if I got matched up with him again.
Oh yeah, yeah. Your game was pretty close, eh?
Yeah, our game literally came down to a crit early game and nature. And a nature is what won me the game.
Hey, it's just prep.
Yeah, it is prep. It is very much prep. Uh,
Yeah.
on the flip of that, you want to play everybody, but
Mm-hmm.
but you also want to win, right? So, with the idea of winning in mind, are there any coaches or matchups that you'd be dreading? Might be too strong a word for you, but let's say not excited about when it comes to the playoffs.
Um, let's see. I think Jason's gonna be annoying with the Mega Solar. Kind of just rips through my team because I don't really have a check for that apart from like maybe Milotic, but even then it takes about 50%. Just scary,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is very scary. I do have a plan, but we'll see if it works out. I won't be going all out this week because I'm hoping that I get to play him in the playoffs, first round of playoffs.
hmm
So I'll be playing him back to back.
Yeah. I've definitely done that, and I can tell you that not going all out or even losing usually works in your favor.
Yeah, you don't want to reveal everything, right?
Yeah, whereas they show you everything they got, and then you can plan for that.
Exactly.
Uh, it's interesting though. I do like that. I do like that. That's a good answer. Uh, before we wrap up the playoffs talk, I'm just curious if you have any final thoughts about playoffs before we move forward into them. Anything we haven't touched on that's going through your head or that you'd like the coaches or whoever's watching this to know.
Um, Not necessarily. I do have some sort of a feel like a curse going on where I was finals in the first season, then semis in the next season, and now probably going to get out in quarters
Oh
if the
no.
pattern keeps it up.
Oh no.
So let's hope to breaking that curse, but we'll see.
Oh jeez. Well, I think at the moment that not at the moment. It's not like we're gonna revisit this tomorrow or the
Hmm.
next day. In regards to the NPBF, that is all the questions that I have for you. But before we sign off, is there anything that you would want anyone at home to know about you to really get the true Liam experience, to really get people to be like, yeah, that's the guy I'm rooting for to win this whole season?
I don't know, man. I don't try too hard. I just play for fun, and I just enjoy the game. So as long as everyone enjoys their game, it's all good for me. All good for me.
I don't know how you can root against him with that answer. Like, there's no malice, there's no bad blood, there's no like, oh, this guy's got an ego. It's just make it really hard to root against you now.
Oh well, you can root against me. I drafted Stall, so
I mean, I'm rooting against you because that means rooting against me.
true, true.
But all that said, Liam, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to sit down and talk with me. It's been really great. At minimum for me, getting to hear your thoughts and your perspectives and experiences over the last 12 weeks. Um, it's been really enlightening. It's been great insight into you for me as a player, and I hope other people feel the same way.
Thanks, man. I've really enjoyed the NPBF as a whole. Like, it's my first time like doing a competitive draft league and stuff. I've like joined others this year, but yeah, it's my first time doing. Was my first time doing it 3 seasons ago. So yeah,
Well, we've loved having you. You know, you're always welcome to stay as long as you want. We hope others feel the same way, feel inspired, much like you were, to join and give it a shot. Uh, Again, thank you for joining. Thank you everyone for tuning in and listening to Liam. Uh, Liam, enjoy the picture that is that is going to be the background image for this video.
amazing. Thanks.
Yes, I guess I should say before we sign off that all the coaches who are making playoffs are getting little portraits of themselves with their team mascot. I just wanted to Photoshop an image of your roster over your logo, and then my Photoshop person was like, "Can I just draw this instead?" Like, you literally just asked me to do the one thing in Photoshop I can't do. So here we are, and I think this is nicer anyway.
Yeah.
But again, you know, thank you for your time. Thank you guys for watching. We got 7 more of these to do. So look forward to them. Look forward to our playoffs coverage. You know, you'll see all the games. I'm really hoping that we get to do some interesting stuff when we get to finals. And we'll talk to you guys soon.